I love the new H1Z1 patch that is currently out on the test servers right now. They have fixed and enhanced a plethora of items, and the game is actually really fun at this current time. I'm going to talk about everything that's in the update. I'm going to tell you guys what I like, what I don't like, kind of give you my 2 cents on it. But for the most part, it's going to be a pretty cool video, so if you guys do end up enjoying it, don't forget to smash that like button, and also subscribe to the channel for more H1Z1 content coming in the future. Let's immediately get into the video. So the immediate first thing that I noticed when I spawned into H1Z1 was the movement speed has been increased a tad bit, and it feels very clean. It feels a lot faster than what they kind of took it down to in the previous patch about a couple weeks ago. Now, I don't know if this is just me or not, but it seems like vehicle movement speed is a bit faster as well to speed the whole game up. But like I said, it could just be me. I don't know. It just looks faster than normal. I get into a truck or a Jeep, cop car even. It just feels like I'm flying through space on Elon Musk's Tesla up in the Falcon Heavy. But I guess we'll see as time goes on to see if that's the case or not. So what I do love most about the new update is the finalized changes to the UI. It's finally here. They have been updating the game for the past few months with their UI systems, their menu screen, their in-game inventory, as well as menu. Now they've actually finished the UI that you see in-game while you're playing it, so it's really clean. There is an issue. I mean, it's a tad issue. The top of the compass right there at the top left, it's a little chopped off. Don't know what happened there, but it's an easy fix, I'd hope. I hope they don't break the game trying to fix that little bug right there. I guess the minimap on the bottom right, I do love that, by the way. It's a really awesome feature. It just seems a little bit off-centered, as well as the bottom middle of the screen. You guys can see when you're in a car that either the car speedometer or your actual player information down there is offset. One of them's offset, definitely needs to be fixed. I love the new UI change, and I'm finally glad to not see that old bloodshot type of UI that the game has always had. So it's awesome that they finally moved away from that. It's a lot more clean, and it looks very nice. So they've re-added drop shotting into the game, as well as seat swapping, and they have added a combat roll once exiting vehicles. That part is to reduce COD rushing, which actually I didn't know at first. I thought it was just a combat roll that you would do once coming out of vehicles, but once I heard that it reduced COD rushing, I tried it out myself. I immediately saw, yes, this is the thing we need. So basically what happens when you're moving at high speeds, when you're kind of just cruising very slowly, edging your vehicle forward, you're not going to do the combat roll. But when you're moving at high speeds, most notoriously when you're boosting, your character's actually going to jump out of the seat and do a roll and then get up, and you'd be able to actually shoot or do whatever you want normally in the game. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of an animation that stops you from shooting, throwing grenades, all that whole stuff. So it prevents people just rushing up to you, pulling out the shotgun, one pumping you with an instant, with no reaction whatsoever that you can do on your part. We all know this has been a big issue for the longest time, and I think they finally actually fixed it. So I'm really happy to see that. There's a little bit of a bug with it. It's kind of inconsistent. The entire system itself feels pretty consistent, but the animation, there's some inconsistencies there. Sometimes when you're moving at top speed and you jump out, you kind of roll in place, whereas other times if you were to jump out at high speeds, your character would kind of do a little bit of a hop. You would roll a couple feet and then get up. Again, it's just a little bit of a bug, but I'm sure they'll address it before it hits the live servers soon. They've adjusted weapons yet again, but only ever so slightly, and I think they, did a pretty good job on that. Nothing noticeable that seems off or odd. It feels pretty natural, so nothing really to talk about there. They have added different armor bleeding mechanics into the game, so if you pop somebody in the head with, I'm pretty sure, any gun, and you knock off their helmet, usually does the 35 damage plus the bleed. They've removed the bleed, so that's really cool. It's kind of a dumb mechanic they added in the first place, but they got rid of that. As well as if you shoot somebody in the armor, it doesn't automatically start bleeding them as well. It just takes the armor off, and I think does that little bit of damage that it's supposed to do, but it doesn't make you bleed. Though, I think I may add, I'm pretty sure the exception to those two rules are the sniper and the shotgun. The sniper, of course, it's a high-powered weapon, and the shotgun, it's got a ton of pellets coming out, so it only makes sense for your opponent to bleed after taking damage from you know, one of those two weapons. So they've changed healing a little bit between the bandages and medkits. It still gives you the same amount of XP over time, but instead of bandages giving you 10 HP over time, it gives you 2 up front once it pops, and then 8 over the course of its use. Medkits, it's going to give you 8 up front and then 52 HP over the course of its use. So, I mean, that's a really cool feature. Gets you healed up a little bit more once you go back into combat, and you don't have to wait forever trying to go back in. I find myself often, if I'm extremely low and I pop a med kit, I gotta pop like 5 or 6 bandages before I get into combat, because once I get back into combat, I'll already be above 70 HP. 5 seconds later, I'll be at 90, and then I'm at 100. So this way, it's just gonna speed things up a little bit, so that's very cool. So they've replaced the bombing run with a jet, so you can clearly and distinctly hear the difference between an airdrop and the jet itself. It's very fast. You can definitely hear it whiz by your head. It's got a new sound to it, which is very clean. So I'm not sure if I've talked about this yet, but I guess if I did, then obviously I'm going to cut it out of the video. But this is one of the coolest features that I've seen in a long time. They've given us the ability to select our own spawn once parachuting into the game. So how that works is once you get into the Fort Destiny, you have the option to bring up the map and select a spawn. If you fail to do so, then the game's just going to give you a random spawn anyways. Once you pull up the map, you can actually click on any of the quadrants other than the bordering quadrants that are on the map. They've changed the layout of the map itself a bit. They've kind of toned down on all of the callouts, and at this point they've only got about 10 to 15 different POI icons, so it kind of cleans things up a little bit. They've highlighted all of the major roads, which is pretty cool. And one big thing to note is that parachuting is extremely fast now. So once you get into the game, I think you're on the ground within 10 seconds. Very, very cool feature. I'm really hyped about that. And I just hope they don't turn it back to what it was, because it was just god-awful slow. I'm sure some of you guys have been waiting for me to talk about this, and I'm finally talking about it. The one thing that I do not like in this new patch, and actually something that a vast majority of the players hate as well, and that is the new scoring model. So before all of H1Z1's lifespan, from season 1 to season 7, it was based off of a top 10 model. Your top 10 games, your top 10 scores, whatever they were recorded. Everything other than that is just thrown to the side. That doesn't matter. I honestly think the top 10 scoring model that H1 has been using forever is one of the best that any game has ever come out with. Call of Duty, PUBG, Fortnite, this is the best I've ever seen. But unfortunately, the guys over there at Daybreak think that it's a broken system, and a lot of people aren't happy about that. They'll probably end up changing their mind because of the community feedback on this one, but up until then, this is what we're gonna have to deal with. So this is how it now works. It does still use your top 10 games that you have on your record, but they've also added an average placement match that will be on top of that, and an average kills per match. Those two averages will implement into your top 10 score and ultimately affect your leaderboard ranking. So if you have 10, 20 bombs and solos as your top 10 score, but your average placement is like 93 and your average kill per match is about 3, then you're going to get placed heavily shitty on the leaderboard. Obviously, they've had to affect scoring in that sense, and I don't know the actual parameters to keep royalty, masters, diamond, whatever you're currently at right now or trying to keep. Don't know the parameters that surround those rankings, but with this in turn, those of you who play 1,000, 2,000 games and are top 100 on the leaderboard, you obviously deserve it because you put the time and effort into the game to grind out and get that high on the leaderboard. Whereas in this system right here, it's just going to completely remove all of those players and send them probably into masters. Yes, guys, that means that you can hit royalty and D-rank into masters. You can hit gold and D-rank all the way back to bronze. It's that bad. Yes, they've added D-ranking into the game. Like, honestly, nobody wants to see this come to the live servers. Dead serious, if any of you guys are watching right now and like this new scoring model, please let me know down below, because I'm curious. I haven't met anybody yet who likes this new thing. It's just, it's a whole mess, and a lot of us are hoping it doesn't come to the live servers. Like I said, it's one of the best scoring systems that I've ever seen in any game out there, especially a battle royale game. The reason why I don't play PUBG is because it's boring and they don't have a top 10 system like H1Z1. So if they can just fix that and just completely remove this new scoring model altogether, I think this would be one of the best patches that this game has ever received, other than the obvious combat update that came out about a month ago. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel for more H1Z1 content coming soon. I really want to play Islands of the Nine on the channel, but I can't get an alpha key. I did want to pre-order it. I was hesitant on it because none of my friends wanted to get it. Fuck, none of my friends never want to get any game that I threw out there. It's like, oh cool, look, this game's popping right there right now, let's get it. Oh, I don't want to get it. I don't want to spend money. Shut up. Come on. You guys are stuck playing H1 all day. Come on, we need to play some other games. Yeah, it's kind of irritating, but you know, I missed the pre-orders sales and they're all sold out. So now I can't play Islands of Nine. I'm a little ticked off over here, but I guess I'll wait for the next keys to roll out. But once that does, I'm going to be grinding that game. It looks fun. I'm not sure if I'll enjoy it, but I'm really hyped to play it. So if there's anybody out there with an extra Islands of Nine key, I'd really appreciate that. Just DM me on Twitter at WhiteChaosHD. You'd be the real MVP right there. So I guess that's all we have for the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.